Men by the lips of women. I'm in love with a man who doesn't love me, with the pages of the book he sees from. He makes love through his syllabic ink, assaulted thunder, leaves me to my own delirium tremens. I gouge out his eyes, break the yolk across his shoulders, disembowel the nectar from his liver. His toxins become a cherry blossom wine. He sounds in the brain's eagled hollows of a soft guitar from a Spanish cafe among the mountain peaks in nightshade. He cannot hide no matter how many goats he scares or biscuits he throws at the hunger. The mother of everyone calls him. His fright is an orb of hold me, I'm yours, crisp and curled with age's yellow, and the godless sunburn you love across your nose. I am that love you light yourself with, and my gender is powerless in this. We are metered only by our own machines, while the book is a clock that forgets her mechanics. Her hands can count, but would rather wipe warm dew, the pall from your lips, and kiss the lids of your eyes from sleep. Here am I, is he, with yoke and shadow removed. She is, her and me, apart from you, man reading men by the lips of women. A room without walls. Those of us dressed like moonlight know that good whiskey goes in our heads, lays us flat in a room without walls. But if there were walls, if we were walls, we'd be the sturdy stand-up kind, so that no one would walk all over us. Unless Lionel Richie needed us for a music video for the song Dancing on the Ceiling, which really means we would be a means to an end, the end as ceiling. No one looks up and thinks, that's the end, the ceiling is the end. Even now, I won't look up. I don't know if there's a ceiling above or below and will not invest in such laws of physics. I want to be beyond walls, the after walls, part person, part ethereal star matter, complete with the engine of lung tissue, intake valves, computer parts to make my eyes and ears less fictitious than what happens in papyrus print and cotton song. Stuff my orifices, play a tiny banjo in Spain. I won't let on I know society at large, society in a room without walls. I can recognize them. You see, rooms must be smaller than one imagines, where the air is tight to keep productivity flowing. If the room opens into a field, the workers wander, walking for miles, and nothing but motion completes itself. How can motion finish? Static, it isn't. Is that how we want to sleep in a world filled only by the motion of Lionel Richie walking without walls to get around? If you think that's enough, the notion that we should leave rooms without hindrance, without borders or piers to keep us, to guide and keep us from rescuing each other, then I leave you only with the promise from a painter unrelated to this place, one who no longer moves among us, except along museum walls, in gallery coffins with, quote, above all, the idea of death. Leonora Carrington. Remedios in relief. The eggs fill up the space reserved for my fever. I wait for you in this kitchen, bread in mind, hand to you, exercising an evil eye the morning you approach. Blackbirds etch over bones rising with river, speaking this green tequila on the table before your knock. We tame this whorish water, you with your stellar self. That busy neighbor stops, tells me magic holds no harbor here. The sweltering wool of summer wind pushes, tears a sleeve from her dress, her ghost wincing. She does not notice your entrance in the peacock dream of music. Lydia Demkovska has made a bomb of my eyes. Lydia Demkovska has made a bomb of my eyes, pulled the pin, and women become the new ramparts from which we watch the old world spin, into you know what gets them, the vacuum, the tweezers, the archway of Gotham that invites us to Slovenian cities, Serbian farms, Croatian seasides, all the way to a little boat that rides the moat of give me everything with nothing, the mouth that makes gestures, eyes that eat at digested sounds, ears that send words for the censure of players exhibiting the Christian accent in beetle-winged chords, beyond which I swallow the air and am stuffed with American promise of a flat sky's mouth opening and surrounding itself in one fat gulp. I sell thin vine snakes into my lover's arteries, Her knee cannot bear the pressure of how long I disappear in discussions at the disco or saccharine flowers and the way her eyes gamble. I said to you beneath a glittery ball, watching her little legs twist, we all know the beyond words, before, within, but do words know us? Language speaks our very tender selves into birth, but do words look human as silhouettes and know their creators, their creatures, call us ships and light lanterns, bang crosses, call stars, or nail us to the bow, and bow before us, and cry to wish to love and touch us, our blooded sticky brows? Do they chart their lives to tremble in the cracks of their own imperfect smiles? The prayers they bear, do they know the way we toy with their topless heads? My insect flies at your insect with spindly legs whose sticks are chalk marks traced into the world with karate chops, dusty hairs that trace the outline of air in hopes of finding jaw skin, cheek corners, chiseled lips of what gets spoken, and kiss the crevice between insect mouth and mammal eye. No distance between countries, but the sky's mouth on repeat, enveloping mother and thumb at the heels of a baby thumb, the coos that sling past and sighs that melt into pleas of karaoke machines by instinctual women who tune their oxygen to revolving seats of stardom, the little sexy, bleeding lambs. This is called The Moon in Your Breath. Man acts as an antenna for the sun, and then, a trout in the milk, men who wear kilts after darkness. Build a bottle of fish with a few dried figs. Dear Shadow, when did I become that person? I mean one who says plastic glucose without wondering what rotten sweet is. The one who teenagers represent. There's a room in your breath I crawl into, eating the wallpaper's yellow, looking out for the man on the stairs, his knife in hand, poise incarnate. I am your minimum envelope, your string between tin cans, and cannot stop the talk between us. In Berlin, they laid buildings on concrete slabs that look straight back at us. The windows of the soul seek to err on the side of humanity. Put a piece of glass between us for less resistance. Invite Rococo scrawl in heated breath upon it. The moon appears in a cinched waist. Stand penance atop her curvature's axis, above a hill where headstones claw up through the clouds, pulling their fibers into blankets across us. The sleet and silver smiles gauze thin. We slip from a reel of translation back into how we cater to loneliness, how we move our mouths and mouth our meals, engorging entrails where even foodstuffs give off energies. I am that uncontrollable, fear in a mesh of Moonrock's lapis soup. We demons are in love and afoot, as in the primordial diary. Time will come to take the hymn in, tether the ether that dreams come from, and examine our ankles as the sugar washes over, disappearing. As with everything, that's the body he works on. She also knows honey lasts best in the future. Mockingbird sways and bicycle hangs. Making way to your Natalie Portman, I write quietly when asked. No monster junkie, these tubes protect you from the colors you don't want to hear, where your backyard awakens, shakes into an embalmed green from the over-there-ness of here. Justice is just a shaving tool that keeps murder off the peach. Sparrows in their sockets, the yolk's shell outside its dead-lined window. We rockets lie by snails, impotent as weapons of mass appeal. Spring would be the ego's early season, possibly with a typist or an easel. But the mockingbird sways and bicycle hangs before a walk to the pond after supper. Brie and crackers, a muscled figurine that toys the waves lapping at my ankles. I look down through the noose at my own reflection and see the crescent moon barking with glee at my heels. Every era builds character. When Ramiro Clemente sold his photo, doctored for my first book to me on the streets of Barcelona, I learned the way to say Barcelona with a lisp and embrace a closer view of what it means to be completed by the brick walkways off the Golden Path, not only by my own American tight-knit security club of what goes on here is designed with me in mind. Even the skulls in the archways were not made of light. What surfaced when Ramiro sold the photo downriver to me, the swelling American taken in by gaudy buildings on every corner and gypsies running at crossroads, splitting into threes with stolen wallets plus my friend's passport. I'll tell you what surfaces fell apart when I dipped into Les Quatre Gats and discovered Picasso would never cross the threshold of this kinked-up version of why tourists pay too much to drink here. Absinthe of the weaker green and mugs with black cats and gold overlay populate the view. Skulls and white caps of soft chalk to be abandoned in a word, forever, as one beginning to make sense. In modern-day cities like Barcelona, women still steal your money while men do it too, with the underhanded charm of decades past. Even the jewels are made of dusted-off sass, polished at the heels of fierce flamenco dancers we paid pesetas to dance with. I stayed in the Gothic quarter, neighboring the Jewish quarter, where I walked small alleys and avenues wider than what today's Paris has on offer. But before I took the train in, full of vomit and beer from tin cans, up from Sevilla after Malaga, I saw the still ancient places where women with gilded yellow teeth are as old and as populous as the olive trees and fields cracking the horizon between everywhere and here. They reported through crafted smiles that every era builds character, and no one was ever less informed than the previous or next. That I would do best to learn this trick. The back and forth of clocks means as little now as how much it takes to see a Gaudi cathedral, which is no cathedral at all, but a basilica built from a design of the man's, not by him, 100 years after the architect's expiration. That we think at all is a small miracle to be experienced in any large city, including one full of gypsies and mammals and chickens for sale on unraveling sidewalks. That visit, I danced with women in fiery skirts from Sweden and Spaniards from hillsides I likely would never visit. I rode in a burro-drawn cart around a body of water, pushing at the city, one with a death date I'll never swim in, unless I drown soon, and struck matchsticks in restaurants that served thin, fleshly strips of wild boar and sangria beside salted shrimp tapas. The world opened its maw wide to Barcelona, and I swear if I had not left to breathe the entrails of Paris, I would have met the next Picasso wandering in Malaga or Cordoba and taken him back to a Barcelona villa, where we would squat and grow food on the rooftop and paint the woman from a photo that would eventually turn into the poet's next book cover, already in half-borrowed progress. Some pink in your color. Did you know I'm in this hospital bed? I'm not. I'm in the same light you stand in. Much the same way I'm in the waist of your Carolina, watching from the screen across the bed whose pulse is worn down with an IV to the head. We are all snowbirds atop the cherry blossoms of August. Springtime in Washington, D.C. passed too fast, nearly in the flash of Rose brushing her teeth over the bedpan. No adrenal gland has known such cortisol, such heartbreaking, I love you, oh my God, so many soldiers on the brink of their lives returning. Are we still talking to the same God? I can't imagine the heart anymore now that it presses my ribs apart. A balloon of such gravity, I ache for stars in a jar, wasps whose love reminds me of fireflies tonight. Turning my hair inside out, I only see Emma B making sense of excess, making something of it online via high fashion, which shouldn't be but is, along with every other thing, both Uber and Central Pacific. Turns out the world is a big one. So this is where I am tonight, between bourbon and eggnog, thinking in laps about the exquisite gap of macro to micro evolutions, that is, relativity to quantum mechanics. And I don't know if string theory will tie us together as shuffled and promised, or if we ever will truly transport, Spock-like, but I like the guy who keeps going at it, hacking away at, quote, the only game in town, not mine. I'm in the wilderness, undoing math from mechanics. Michio Kaku and Richard Dawkins should probably sit down over drinks, not coffee, in the inebriation way and have at it. Symbiosis ensues, hatchets in and out, and we all get rowdy in their afterglow. Somehow, I think this type of fire query, this instigation of what gets roughed up, not in the bar brawl fashion, in the fray of how we go next to each other without any truth or absolute might be beauty too. Picasso and Da Vinci and Kahlo and Tanning ventured other routes, as did others, and still. The boat rocks on and gets moored, even sinks, but it all floats up in outer space, these giant rocks of glowing stars and asteroids exploding wormholes. The calculations look back at us too, making out with the abyss that is also mute with questions, and laughs a guttural song that sounds not unlike Britney Spears mouthing "Till the World Ends" in the background. Even the theorists lean back to wonder what it's like to be the difference between what is heralded by prophecy versus what settles the corners of their own bedroom cushions. Not usually concerned with mass appeal or content, they admit to the occasional wilderness call, as easy as passing water or making more humans to live through. Much comes to those who can displace the public lust and place it back in their beds, though even in that, we're uncertain as to just what. Which artist is it that explores exactly how bodies intersect and which ones attract in their distance? In this equation, we meet with other equations that resemble tattoos to astronauts looking up close from the distance of personal planets. Until our moons collide, when we speak the languages of foreign entities, we remain in orbit, camped up in our own gear, walking separate runways, lipsticked and watching others turn on high heel, as we spin about toe-to-toe, quiet, on our own.
Diptych. To be sure, licorice is my last word. I'll keep saying it over and over until someone shoots me in the face. To ensure the sky will be blue for you, I'll hire all the two-seaters in the world and tie crepe paper to your tails. Foreign objects. Hemlock is high in soluble fiber. A self-directed bullet contains no fatty acids. Asphyxiation eliminates secondhand smoke. Carbon monoxide is nitrate-free. Sleeping pills reduce the body's need for sugar. A blow from a sword is high in iron. Hanging flushes the body of its toxins. Cyanide cleanses potentially harmful resins. Bleach cuts cholesterol levels. Jumping simulates weightlessness. Drowning ensures hydration. Smoking improves eyesight. An oncoming train is filled with many fruits and vegetables. Running a car into a tree reduces the need for red meat consumption. This is 77 an elegy. A mass of people, who would have believed? Barracuda up G-knob, they are. I was sitting on a truck, the company of a beautiful unknown only minutes from the Spanish, I will wait. Meanwhile, we can both stare at your mistress, but yet it seems if one could take her knees, I also thought that I saw what had appealed to me was beginning. She would have to learn to listen to music whom I've so recently met, a fragment of the universe, pages of Keats and Endymion, this side of the cluck. I have so many colors. If you'd seen Deum heat-seeking and Des Knock, and there was the sky with, piercing at a good ways which can never be undone. One wish may hide another, and one person's reputation may hide. Well then, I'll try to be with you again. And space is about stopping as lost mints. Howls, see? The barrow of fulgurating, totally dependent on the social contract. That is what it is like. When Bush decided to invade Iraq, he didn't call it a war. And so the speech that he gave wasn't one of those formal declarations of war. It was just kind of a half-assed speech. So I decided to take the first paragraph and the last two paragraphs of that speech and divide them up by syllable count and put them in alphabetical order. So this poem is called Declaration Distilled. 1. Al, all, an, as, but, by, could, did, far, for, from, had, has, have, I, in, is, it's, like, more, most, must, no, not, of, on, our, own, such, that, the, then this, those, two, whose, will, 1A. All, are, ask, bad, be, bring, cease, comes, date, day, drive, earth, end, faith, felt, few, give, grave, groups, hints, hope is lead, led, mass, meet, peace, plans, put, see, showed, side, source, stop, strength, take there, threats, us, vast, want, was, we, world, years. 2. Accept actions, against, ago, also any attacks before, better, challenge, clearly confront, country, courage, danger, deadly, define designs, destroy, discuss, ending, engine, even events, forget, gather, given, human, longer, minutes, never notice, oceans, only, others, outlines, people, present, protect, reason, refuge, regimes, required, resolved, secure, seeking, shelter, sudden, support, terror, today, tonight, toward, tragic, vivid, weapons, witnessed. 3. Aggression arises, arsenal, chemical condition, confronting deception, defending defiance, destruction, directly, 11th, every history, liberty, nuclear, possesses, practices, produces, suffering, terrorist, violence, 4 and up. Biological consequences, determination, development, generations, obligations, responsibility, terrorism, violated, vulnerability. The taser of hearts, the pistol of clubs, the quandao of diamonds, the dart of spades, the fabric of spades, the bolt of hearts, the hem of clubs, the button of diamonds, the spare of diamonds, the strike of spades, the split of hearts, the open frame of clubs, the stop of clubs, the caution of diamonds, the go of spades, the yield of hearts, the clever of hearts, the cunning of clubs, the dopey of diamonds, the insight of spades, the hop of spades, the jump of hearts, the skip of clubs, the gallop of diamonds, the less than of diamonds, the greater than of spades, the equal of hearts, the fraction of clubs, the feet of clubs, the ankle of diamonds, the calf of spades, the thigh of hearts, the dragon of hearts, the minotaur of clubs, the basilisk of diamonds, the medusa of spades, the obsession of hearts, the biscuit of clubs, the fawning of diamonds, the terror of spades, the fewer of spades, the diamond of hearts, the clinging of clubs, the heart of the diamond, the salt of diamonds, the grips of spades, the tingling of hearts, the canopy of clubs, the drinking of clubs, the hot wheels of diamonds, the urge of spades, the cleft of hearts. This poem is called Flat Sentences from the prefaces of 14 science books. And all of these are really found texts from either the prefaces or the acknowledgments of different science books. 1. Mary Frances applied continual pressure on me to start the job and helped in recording and editing. 2. Thanks to Sandra for her heroic typing, although this need not be taken to indicate her agreement with various points. 3. Peter provided information about the notorious perpetual pills. 4. As someone who gloried in seeing dogma overturned, he would have delighted in the irony of seeing arguments for the reverse. 5. And without their willingness to take on the chore of responding to our whims and fancies over a 3-year period, this book would have fallen short of its goals. 6. The production of this tome would have been unthinkable without the marvelous electronic tools that are now widely available. 7. However, Chapter 7 was written in a relatively self-contained fashion, so the serious student may skip Chapter 6 and delve directly into the theory. 8. The late abbess of Shasta Abbey proved that looking through different windows into the same room is not a metaphor. 9. Nick, who is writing a book on oxygen, gave much appreciated data concerning that element. 10. The film strip format employed in Chapter 10 originated with Elizabeth. 11. I have been very fortunate in being able to use such penetrating minds. 12. In recent months, I have often felt like a small child in a sweet shop as astronomers all around the world have sent me the most mouth-watering new data. 13. Suffice it at this point to observe that I am not just talking about wallpaper patterns on shirts and dresses, although many of these patterns do turn out to have interesting properties. 14. I do not expect that many readers will want to be masochistic enough to want to read the book in order from cover to cover. I generated a list of keywords per poem and used Google searches to find a found text that went along with the keyword. So you'll hear the keywords interspersed with the found texts. Reveal 2, Zodiac. Rat, you will have a cancellation due to schedule restraints. Ox, a gene causing childhood will be identified. Tiger, plans are underway to restore your brain. Rabbit, even breeding a single time can have consequences. Dragon, save time and money, implement unique speech technologies. Snake, collect blue starts, collect red question marks, never miss another call. Horse, avoid disputes with equine leases. Add an event. Goat, adjust factors for milk records. Fence, monkey, stay gold, cute, and on target. Shoot the evil kangaroo. Rooster, add value to your supply chain participants. Dog, you will return the best results from leading engines. Pig, collect and process semen. Reveal 8, Card. Ace, Dow overview, Zen overview, commercial support. 2, some crude humor, a brief substance reference. 3, a 4-day adrenaline-pumping party. 4, that nice waiter is playing tricks to get you to fork. 5, you may see a warning dialogue box. 6, whether you're traveling for work or fun. 7, keep your favorites, take advantage. 8, you draw her boobs and she calls it art. 9, 80-second challenge, which wine with pizza. 10, people with limited capacity will be encouraged. Jack, to find out more about responsible consumption. Queen, click on through for all the news and gossip. King, materials may not be reproduced. Heart, soon your curiosity may lead to respect. Diamond, already own a card? Spade, you've been increasingly unreachable. Club, follow in the footsteps of Lewis and Clark. Reveal 11, Sin. Pride, Viva Judo, deep impact, deep official. Envy, success didn't go to his head. Wrath, get a free dragon from the chaos realm. Sloth, bid on seized coins, sausage slices, and jerky. Avarice, the snapshots taken from the repository. Gluttony, sabotage ruled out, and dead dove incident. Lust, would it do with the vocals possessed? Reveal 24, Tone. Pitch, the shy guys explode. Duration, a red lever tips vanilla. Intensity, dishes are broken, loose bricks fall from buildings. Timbre, translation is the source of the peephole. Reveal 27, Sex. Young vacationers are bringing home unwanted souvenirs. Older students help girls delay their first. Together for nearly 10, they separated after 5. The recent rally on the mall shows the deep support. She's quite far from a normal, ordinary young woman. Take a look back at your favorite defining moments, designed to be viewed from above in true color. Buy books, literature, and tapes from conventions and medallions. As long as you turn your wife over to the cable guy, what offensive material is out there? Reveal 29, substance. Animal. They are socializers and survivors. See one up close. Vegetable. You support banning arsenic and chromium from timber. Mineral. Dazzling spheres are the big stuff. Reveal 41, work. But garlic, licorice, and cucumber that can be rolled up for storage? Why must you shake down mercury? It tears itself into countless little cubes, helps you find and land in bushings into Bo Peep to modernize and boost jobs and pensions. Sending lava flows across the city, red lower image, from the perspective of looking heel to find solid boards. After her supervisor handed out copies, the offshoring wave is a depleting monster. Orange paid from your home, can't find it? What is an economical way to overcome geographical limitations? How over are you? Reveal 42, vowel. A language is a dialect with an army. E, answer bitch. Talk, tab, fab, totally tube. I, an imaginary root is difficult to grasp. O, about as satisfying as a frozen microwave dinner. U, boasting a basketball team that's small enough. Sometimes Y, a small splash in an even smaller pond. Reveal 43, X. These are all X-Men references. Professor, 60,000 students tell all. Cyclops, didst leave the mountain nymphs thy nurses. Angel, thwart the supernatural creatures that prey. Storm, ices made from recycled bowling balls. Beast, frustrated designers work in dark offices. Colossus, where Shaolin pocket bikes cluster. Wolverine, multiply that might some 50 times. Phoenix, dirty projectors sell for $29.50. Nightcrawler, get attention with a cool plot twist. Gambit, kiss your chess obsession goodbye. Rogue, Amber is naked in a bathtub, a revolution. X-Men, in your opinion, what is the best thing about you? Reveal 52, month. January, he thinks his work will ultimately go out of fashion. February, decisions relating to the siting of power. March, every day 1 in 8 babies arrives too soon. April, with peasants pulling strands of spaghetti down from trees. May, click here for a history of motions. June, the majority of the rose speculation occurs here. July, special rates to visit American memory. August, with the lakes to be around a long time. September, a museum to document the personal histories of Red. October, why not the alphabet and an automobile? November, show inclination to scrap sentencing. December, put on your pajamas and dive. Reveal 55, berries. Straw, to find feeds, look for a white on orange icon. Blue, ant joins X steps in the latch boy on the bench. Black, our elevation must be the result. Rasp, flesh and blood supermarket sweep identity. Poison, functional and trendy counters and screens. Crayon, every major seam is double stitched for durability. Goose, 50 to 68 inches, sexes similar, large, long-necked elder, to watch or not to watch. Juniper, end-to-end layered plug-and-play deployment. Mull, danger, keep off tracks, electric current. Huckle, data conversion of a too large number. Halley, the zoo, botanical garden, race course, 1 in 5 cinemas. So this is called It Might Take a Long Time to Partition Googleplex. And this is from a book that I'm working on right now called Change Machine. Some terrible intersection might make all the gold parts happy, and it's good that nickel is around too, and aluminum. I wrote some lines about metal but lost them, roughly equivalent to losing half a dollar, or a dollar coin. There have been so many different versions. So for now, let's say the water beneath us is still, apart from a couple of bubbles or ice cubes, and stacking tiles on the middle table substitutes for sentences, the way games are used to decide between two abstract variables, dragons controlling dice from the vertices of the two-dimensional universe. And strings were that way too, like ideas, and holding your hand was so much currency we made a ceiling fan spin the way you look at particle changes, its nature, position, just as changing clothes will affect the certainty of luck. So I mean this. Take a glass bottle of ginger ale and shake it to multiply its air sacs. Spread it across a flat surface and divide with a razor blade the right bubbles from left, then the remaining odds from evens. If you're left with more than half as many as my love for you, you might as well pack up your bags and leave, because I wouldn't be telling you the truth about the infinite and its intersections. This one is called clusters rather than circles. I'd rather believe Batman or a slice of toast. This one doesn't even look me in the eye when she talks. I'd rather believe a stalk of celery or flip a coin. Why not give every table 3 legs? With 4, no one quite seems to find its place. Our television has close to 1,000 potential channels. How many of these buttons reassemble the figure within? I'd like to find outlines amidst all of the static, a suspension bridge or T-Nex borders, the property deed that aligns its squiggly boundaries, or at least a PDF. Personally, I'll only feel safe when I have 10,000 printed reproductions of everything I've ever written, even when the words themselves are fragile and ragged, like broken marbles. Yes, I'd like the many perfect copies, each one smoother than its other. I'd rather have a peony with 3 fewer petals. Would you please rotate every even grain of sand? 90 degrees for more than 30 days. It's a hot summer. It's called 29, but just in its epiphanies, the best part. So this poem is called 29 Epiphanies. 1, Knights and parsons are long-winded. 2, Beatrice is out of your league. 3, it takes a strong detergent to wash the blood off your hands. 4, chivalry narratives can drive you crazy. 5, Styx is another name for Schitt's Creek. 6, always avoid Antonios. 7, if you ever get stuck on an island, adopt a small parrot. 8, if someone suggests you sell your children as food for the rich, he's only kidding. 9, Pope was a cranky jerk. 10, instead of Lovelace, marry the boorish, disgusting guy. 11, many English poets had detailed lives. 12, don't forget to wind the clock before sex. 13, Samuel Johnson had a detailed life. 14, a lamb is different than a tiger. 15, wading in a pool to gather leeches isn't a very good idea. 16, just leave the albatross the fuck alone. 17, Mr. Darcy might be hot, but he makes a poor impression on strangers. 18, Ozymandias is just a pile of rocks. 19, Grecian urns promote safe sex. 20, if you have to bury a heart beneath the floor, make sure it isn't beating. 21, it sucks to have a big red A. 22, Uncle Tom is very, very different than Major Tom. 23, buy the kid a turkey so the ghosts won't come. 24, don't trust the Duke who has a painting of his previous Duchess. 25, if your wife sets your house on fire and you try to rescue her, you'll lose a hand and your eyesight. 26, It isn't easy to balance a whole mill on a foundation of floss. 27, sometimes a whale is only a whale. 28, The Ordeal of Richard Feverel isn't a book that people typically read. 29, Drinking lots of chemicals will bring out the worst in you. This is a poem in dialogue called The Death of Cinema. Richard, I was thinking of getting LASIK eye surgery. Me, have you seen Un Chien Andalou? It has an eyeball scene that'll make you think twice about LASIK. Richard, no, but I watch YouTube. In one, this guy's eye comes out of its socket and is to swing around by the cords. He can still see everything, all the blood on his shirt and the ground, while his other eye is still normal. It's really cool. Okay, this is my last poem. It's called Delta. I fly Delta all the time. Well, not all the time, but whenever I fly in an airplane, or usually when I fly in an airplane. You don't see poems about particular airlines very often. I think if I send Delta this poem, they might give me free tickets, promise never again to lose my luggage, and always land my flights on time. Maybe even upgrade me to first class and make me a medallion member. This poem will make Delta famous among the 10 or 12 readers who read it. Or maybe it will appear in the New Yorker or Best American Poetry and revolutionize air travel. For instance, have they fully explored time travel or teleportation? If superheroes really exist, I'm sure Delta could hire one who, with the blink of an eye, could make people swap places. This solution would save gas and reduce payroll, although I'm sure everyone would regret the loss of a complimentary bag of peanuts.